Alright, so today what I wanted to do was talk about Resident Evil 5 in terms of a remake. The conversation has come up again recently, probably mainly because of the gameplay we've now seen of RE4 and how well it looks like it's going to play, and just how visually good the game looks, as well as its shift in tone as well. And I think that kind of sparked that talk, because if you played RE4 and RE5, you'll know that they play quite similar. Also, the tone in those games, obviously 5 is probably more over the top than 4, but they're not deadly serious, and they're a little bit over the top and goofy at times. And I think with the changes to 4 and it being this more serious dark tone game, they probably want to do the same for 5, as well as kind of improve its gameplay, because it is still, well, it plays exactly the same as 4, so they both play the same. And maybe 5 is the next step in that kind of direction. So I do want to talk about the positives of what a Resident Evil 5 remake would bring, as well as some of the things that may be mixed opinion, what I've seen people talk about online. But yeah, without any further ado, let's just jump into it. So straight out of the gate, I do want to say Resident Evil 5 is probably, to me, one of my top 5 in the whole series. I have a lot of good memories tied to it from when it first came out to pretty much recent as this year, when I played through it again with a friend who had never played it before, and that was a good time. And it's just a fun game to play. Speaking of the kind of multiplayer aspect of the game for just a moment, people have been asking for a multiplayer RE game that isn't a PvP game. Obviously, recently we've had Resident Evil Resistance, which is asymmetrical, and now we've got Resident Evil Reverse, which is a free-for-all game. And people are saying, remake Outbreak, bring back Outbreak, remake Resident Evil 5 and keep it co-op. The game is so much fun playing it with a friend. So much fun. So much stupid shit happens, and you laugh, and you stress out, and you have a good time. It works so well because of the scale and the kind of progression of the game, that RE5 is just a really fun co-op game. There are a lot of people out there kind of saying that if they were to remake the game, maybe have it be a solo game, but each character has different playable sections. I don't think that would really work out, considering the whole point of Sheva being there is to kind of help Chris get through Africa, and her not being there at certain points in the game would be a bit weird. So maybe keep it co-op, obviously have the AI there as well. Obviously the AI will probably be improved. I'd imagine we'll see some kind of AI improvement with Ashley in RE4, so the same could be applied to a AI Sheva or a Chris in a 5 remake, but keep the game co-op is what I'll say. Gameplay wise, obviously, like I said, it does play very similarly to RE4, so to put it briefly, just imagine this playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, and probably Resident Evil 4 Remake. Obviously with the 4 Remake, from the gameplay we've seen, there's a lot more new mechanics in that game from the original, such as parrying with the knife, being able to kind of crouch and sneak around by the look of it as well, so that's pretty cool. I think as well, with 5 they could add some co-op mechanics. I don't know specifically what they could do, but make it so that you can interact more with your partner. Obviously what we have in the game at the moment with 5, you can trade ammo and stuff like that. You can't trade guns, so maybe do that as well, you can switch guns with each other on the fly. That'd be pretty cool. And for people who want that solo experience, maybe work in more of those moments where you are split up. There are some moments in RE5 where you are split up very briefly, and they're intense. You've got to deal with it by yourself. And if you're playing on a harder difficulty, like professional or veteran, the stakes are hard, dude. You've got to not mess up, because if you die, you game over, both of you. So you got to be careful. Now, in terms of anything else to the game, there was a lot of cut content from RE5, and I made a video about that way back when. But it seems with RE4 they're doing some of that as well. Just briefly, I think some of the animations Leon has and what he's wearing is very similar to that RE 3.5 beta we saw gameplay of, the Hookman demo. That's all kind of there. So you do get that vibe, and there is kind of an idea that maybe they're going to implement more from that demo into the remake, because people really wanted to see that. And there is, there is the possibility that with a 5 remake, some of that cut content that didn't make it to the game could appear in a remake. So for example, there's a bit that was cut from the game where the BSAA were there in full force fighting a horde of enemies and big ogres and stuff like that. So that would be really cool to see actually happen in the game. Of course, there's also different moments in RE5 that'd be really cool to see, maybe in co-op in a remake. So for example, we've got the mines section, not the best section in the game, to be honest, at the moment, but with a remake you can really change that up, make it more of a co-op horror section. Also, with the kind of shooting section on the back of the the military vehicles, maybe make it so a one player drives. They did that in RE6, I believe, a couple of times, so one of you drove, one of you shot, and it was really fun. So maybe add that into RE5, that'd be pretty cool to see. And of course, we've got some pretty iconic characters in RE5 and some pretty cool boss fights, speaking of. So we've got the Wesker and Jill fight near the end of the game. That'd be really cool to see in a remake. I know a lot of people do actually like the RE5 design of Jill. It is a kind of a mixed bag of opinions there, but I think she's pretty cool in that game too. Of course, the final fight of Wesker in the volcano. That's something I kind of look at with, okay, this is a little bit over the top, but maybe keep it there just for fun, or maybe change it up a little bit. I do think they should probably keep that in because it's such a meme at this point, and to be honest, RE5 generated a lot of silliness for the series, and again, with RE4, you know, they haven't took all of that goofy, stupid cheesiness out of the game, you know. The bingo line is confirmed to still be in the game. There's a one-liner from Leon in the gameplay demo we got. So yeah, there is a lot of stuff generated from these games that would be pretty cool to see, you know, personally, with the boulder punch being actually mentioned in Village. You might as well keep it in the game, because people want to see what it was if they haven't played RE5 before. And even now, Heisenberg saying that line really did give me a chuckle. I did not expect that at all. And of course, the DLCs and the extra modes in RE5. RE5 has a lot of PvP modes. I don't know if I'll keep those in. Trying to play them nowadays is almost impossible. Like, no one really plays them. Mercenaries. I think Mercenaries in RE5 is a much bigger endeavor than RE4. There's so many different characters in it you can play, and they all play very differently, which is really nice. You also got your two main story DLCs, which is the Lost in Nightmare DLC, where you play as Chris and Jill in the flashback section, which is really good, and the Desperate Escape, where you play as Jill and Josh after Jill has been rescued from the main game, and they're both really good, so keep those there as well. But yeah, extra modes, replayability, all that good stuff, that should definitely stay in the games as much as possible. Everyone knows that Resident Evil games are pretty much known for how good they can be in replayability, you know, speed runs, challenge runs, high difficulties, extra modes if they have any. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. Again, this is all just kind of ideas for a possible remake and what they could do with it. So let me know your thoughts on a remake of RE5 down below. Would you want to see it? Are you kind of sick of remakes now? I personally don't mind them. I don't think they should release them as often as they do, but I don't mind playing them. And honestly, RE5 as it is right now, I think it's fine. Kind of feel the same about this the way I did with RE4. I'll take the remake if they're doing it, same with RE4, but it's not 100% necessary. I think a lot of other games in this series do kind of need that attention more so than these games. But yeah, they're just my thoughts on an RE5 remake. Let me know yours down below in the comments section. Thank you all for coming by. Remember to subscribe for more Resident Evil content, and I'll catch you all in the next one.